When I was granted permission for this interview, Mr. Harwood, all my research, everybody calls you Joe. May I?
Absolutely.
Okay, Joe. When I was
Please.
granted permission, I'll do that. When I was granted permission for this interview, I did the normal research. I started public research as far as Googling you and Facebook. You pop up everywhere. It's really easy. I have so much material, I'll run out of time. But it was very apparent to me that you wear numerous hats. You're an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, a corporate citizen, a proponent of education. On the business side, you're a food connoisseur, you're a wine savant, you're a buzzboy, you're a boat salesman, but most importantly, you also have a mechanical background. I understand that's where you got started in this boat arena. You have a lot of hats, that's quite a collection. And along the way of wearing those hats, you have accumulated a number of number one positions. On the lake today, you have the number one brand of pizza, VIP. You have the number one brand of gasoline, Marine Pure Gasoline. And of course, your boat sale units are higher than anybody else in the area. And on top of that, this week, Mark Andrus, president and CEO of the Expo Center, gave a sounding renovation of what you are, the largest displayer of boats with the number one prime real estate within this organization. Lastly, the number one thing I want to talk to you about today is customer service. You recently won a national award for customer service. 50 years of lake customer service in so many arenas. How do you develop your customer service culture, especially the silent salesman, the sale after the sale, your service technicians, the reigning number one cobalt service dealer in the world? How did you get there?
Well, it only took 50 years. You have to imagine that.
You don't want to get in a hurry.
No, and I guess that I wasn't, because I was having such a good time along the way learning. Arrowhead Cherokee is a multifaceted business, and we're involved in numerous activities and businesses, and it takes a lot of people to pull that off, and it most certainly is not about me. If there's one basic foundation, it's probably the largest one I stand on. It is I've been very fortunate to be able to work with and to hire the best of people, which has made all these things possible. The service background, I've always been in service. My father was a grocerman when I was growing up. I worked in a butcher shop in high school. I sold meat across the counter, and you're never any better than the last sale or the last meal you served or anything else. The only thing that keeps people returning and purchasing things from you is service. Service gets a lot of lip service, but oftentimes marketing people overcome service and don't pay the attention to it that they should. But my belief is you're only as good as the last boat you sell. The only way you're going to sell the next boat is by taking care of the last boat you sold. And you have to continually concentrate on the boats you've sold if you're worrying about wanting to sell more boats. Once you lose track of looking behind you to your past sales, your future sales are going to drop. I started out in the mechanical business, in the marine side. When I got out of college, the first year that I got out of school, I didn't have a summer job. And my brother and I got a job working at Beaumaris Marina on Grand Lake. And we'd been in hot rodding and drag racing and etc. And had a pretty good grasp of mechanical knowledge because of that and my father. And I started working on boats. And I like boats a lot better than I like working on cars. You know, they weren't hot and greasy for one thing. They were clean and cool for the most part. And the clientele, the people who owned the boats, it was just great. And although I was changing oil and tuning up boats, Well, that's what I began to focus on. Kind of followed a natural evolution that in conversation with people while I would be working on their boat, we did weekend service. The conversation would lead into sales. They'd start asking me questions about a boat they were looking at or they might want to look at, and I started giving them the information about that, and one thing led to another, and then pretty soon I was selling boats and working on boats. The arm of service and importance to sales had just made such a tremendous impression on me that even after I got in sales and got into ownership of marinas and things, I always kept focusing on service because, of course, it's where it came from. And I knew how important it was to have technicians and have quality technicians, because I felt like that's what I owed everything I had to, was quality service by quality people. We always focused on trying to hire the best technicians, and there are certain things that that's required to do to get them. And I found out the most important one was employee benefits, and that's things like health insurance. It's not a matter of just quality pay. Marine service is sporadic and seasonal, and you can't just call out the mechanic when you need him. You have to have them there all the time. Service is expensive to provide, but in order to have the proper people there when the breakdowns occur, customer benefits, employee benefits are extremely important. They need to have health care. They need to have 401k. They need to have stability. And I learned real quick that when your employees are ill, then you are. And if your employees have money trouble, you have money trouble. And you can't have a blind eye and not pay attention to those things, because they will come home to roost, so to speak. So we've early on always have focused on a service background, maintaining the boats we sell, realizing that a lot of times our service is a little more expensive than other people, but we have the largest, most experienced service staff on all of Grand Lake. So is that giving you an idea as to?
It does, and again, it's from your roots. It's permeated through your entire organization. I've had the opportunity to frequent some of your places and service, whether it's the guy bringing you the butter pad or putting gas in your tank or fixing your favorite adult beverage. But the thing that I really want to, and again, the hat that's missing on my list is the one of modesty. My gosh, you just got the worldwide Cobalt Dealer Service Award for the entire corporation. Anybody in business would give their eye teeth to achieve some kind of recognition of that level. That is it's just unheard of, and especially a service award that you cannot buy, you can't influence. It's natural because it comes back from the feedback of your customers. And again, all these things that we have shared as far as coming up to, and you've permeated through, I just thought maybe there was really a magic trick, and obviously there's not. It's a lot of little fingers. The tentacles go in many directions, and you put them together, and so here you are, and I would say congratulations. And I am thankful that I had the opportunity to visit with you about your service.
Well, thank you. And the service is universal throughout the business, no matter what it is. Service is service. And since I came from a service background, I've always had kind of a doubting eye against the marketing whiz kids that always think you can outsell yourself out of any problem. And in reality, good service is good service, and it's recognized.
Lucky Cobalts, lucky Grand Lakers, lucky us, the consumers that use your service. Thank you so much.
Thank you.